Yes, we're going.
Yeah. I might choke you in public.
Is asking the judge presiding over his sex crimes case to throw out evidence. This is the case where he faces more than 60 counts of sex.
But I don't want to do that right now. I want to get right into this. I want to bring on Elizabeth Milner, law and crimes reporter, who is in that courtroom for another Why file this right now? Let's just start there, the timing of it.
Jesse, great to be on as always. And I guess better late than never when it comes to the Department of Justice. But really, 1 month before trial is
vision. Yet a different kind of battle now looms. A legal firestorm erupting from an unexpected quarter, abruptly pausing a trajectory that seemed unstoppable. The air, usually buzzing with his passionate takes and infectious energy, is thick with concern, speculation, and the stark reality of a situation that demands his full, undivided attention. This isn't just a temporary pause. It's a profound moment of truth involving deeply serious allegations that have forced a temporary retreat from the very public stage he commanded with such authority. The suddenness of it all, the way this news broke and cascaded through the media, underscored the intense pressures and vulnerabilities faced by those living life under the constant glare of the spotlight. Repercussions are still being assessed across the vast expanse of sports and entertainment, as everyone grapples with the implications for a figure whose voice was, until recently, a daily staple for millions. Shannon Sharpe, the Hall of Famer known for his confidence and charisma, is now navigating an intensely challenging personal and professional chapter, one that has necessitated a significant, albeit temporary, step back. This isn't a minor setback. It's a fundamental test of resilience, a moment that could potentially reshape the narrative surrounding his highly successful post-playing career in ways that are impossible to fully foresee. The shift from the adulation of the fans to the intense, unforgiving scrutiny of a public legal battle is a dramatic and sobering reminder of the pressures that even the biggest stars must confront when personal legal matters come.
I'm not going to hang up on you.
Don't manipulate me.
Oh, no, have mercy. If you say that one more time, I'm going to choke the out of you when I see you.
To my family, friends, supporters, and colleagues, I want to speak to you directly and from the heart. This is a shakedown. I'm going to be open, transparent, and defend myself because this isn't right. This is all being orchestrated by Tony Buzbee, who has targeted Jay-Z. Tony Buzbee targets black men, and I believe he's going to release a 30-second clip of a sex tape that tries to make me look guilty and play into every stereotype you could possibly.
His voice, typically so dominant and expressive, is now necessarily focused on the gravity of the situation at hand, requiring a deliberate and measured approach to confronting the challenges he faces head on. At the very heart of this roiling situation is a significant civil lawsuit that has been formally filed against Shannon Sharpe in a Nevada court. It is absolutely critical to understand that this is a civil action initiated by an individual, not a criminal case brought by state or federal authorities. Plaintiff in this case is identified in court documents only as Jane Doe, a standard practice in sensitive legal matters often employed to protect the identity of the individual making serious and deeply personal claims. The lawsuit levels extremely grave allegations against Sharpe, including claims of sexual assault, battery, and the intentional infliction of severe emotional distress. The narrative presented within the lawsuit, as reported by various media outlets that have reviewed the court filings, paints a picture of a relationship that the plaintiff alleges began innocuously but purportedly devolved into something deeply troubling and harmful. According to the specifics detailed in the court filing, the relationship between Sharpe and the plaintiff reportedly spanned a period of nearly 2 years, purportedly commencing in 2023. At the time the alleged relationship began, the plaintiff states in the filing that she was 20 years old. The lawsuit goes on to detail specific alleged incidents that form the core basis of her claims, including claims of sexual assault purportedly occurring in October of 2024 and again.
And questionable accusations could have been very easily avoided. And here's how you avoid them. Get married to one woman. Stay married to that woman. Have 0 sexual encounters outside of your marriage. In fact, don't even spend time alone in the same room as any woman who is not your wife or a family member. When it comes to women of low character, such as one who, that you would find on OnlyFans, for example,
in January of 2025. Beyond these specific dated allegations, the lawsuit reportedly describes a broader pattern of alleged behavior during the course of the relationship. characterized by claims of coercion and various forms of abuse. The financial stakes involved in this civil action are exceptionally high, underscoring the severity with which the plaintiff and her legal team view the alleged harm suffered. The whole lawsuit explicitly seeks a staggering $50 million in damages. This substantial figure immediately draws significant attention, serving as a clear signal of the plaintiff's legal team's intent to pursue the case with vigor and highlighting the potentially immense financial exposure faced by the defendant, Shannon Sharpe. The details reportedly contained within the lawsuit, as summarized in various media reports based on the public filings, are graphic and disturbing, presenting a narrative that stands in stark contrast to the familiar public persona that Sharpe has meticulously cultivated and projected over his many years in the national media spotlight. The legal documents, now part of the public record, lay out a specific timeline and recount particular instances that the plaintiff claims constitute the legal basis for her action, providing a detailed account of her grave allegations against the former NFL star. The legal process for a civil lawsuit of this magnitude involving such serious allegations and seeking such a substantial sum in damages can be exceptionally lengthy and complex, involving extensive periods of discovery where both sides exchange information and evidence, the conducting of potentially
have any interaction with them at all. Don't speak to them, don't befriend them, don't text them, don't call them, don't have them in your life in any capacity, period, at all. And you know, it's not hard to put these boundaries up. These are the boundaries that I live within, that many married men live within. It has not intruded on my life or even caused the slightest inconvenience ever. It's very easy for a grown man to not get mixed up with the Gabbies of the world.
Arduous depositions where individuals are questioned under oath, potential settlement negotiations aimed at resolving the dispute outside of court, and possibly a full public trial if an agreement cannot be reached between the parties. The path ahead is a long and arduous one, fraught with challenges for both sides as they navigate the intricacies of the legal system. In the immediate aftermath of this civil lawsuit becoming public knowledge, Shannon Sharpe has issued a series of exceptionally strong and unequivocal denials of the allegations contained within the filing. He has pushed back firmly and immediately against the claims made in the civil filing, stating unequivocally and emphatically that the relationship in question, which is at the heart of the lawsuit, was, from his perspective, entirely consensual. Sharpe has not only denied the allegations, but has also characterized the lawsuit itself in the harshest possible terms, labeling it as a malicious and unfounded attempt to extort a significant amount of money from him. He has gone on record through his representatives describing it as a blatant and cynical attempt to shake down him for millions of dollars, painting a picture of a calculated financial maneuver rather than a legitimate legal pursuit of justice for alleged harm. His defense has been robust and immediate, with his legal team reportedly taking proactive steps, including reportedly releasing information they claim supports their position, such as what they assert are text messages exchanged between the two individuals involved, which they argue serve as compelling evidence that demonstrates the consensual nature of the relationship and directly contradict the plaintiff's
Yes, we're going.
Yeah. I might choke you in public.
narrative as presented in the lawsuit. This public counteroffensive, the release of potentially exculpatory information, is a relatively common tactic employed in high-profile civil cases where the management and shaping of public perception can be almost as strategically crucial as the legal arguments themselves that will ultimately be presented in court. By releasing communications that they claim support their client's position, Sharpe's team aims to immediately cast significant doubt on the plaintiff's claims and paint a very different picture of the interactions and the dynamic between the two individuals throughout the duration of the alleged relationship. However, it is critical to note that the interpretation, authenticity, and ultimately the admissibility of such evidence, including the purported text messages, will be matters for the court to decide as the legal process moves forward, subject to rules of evidence and legal challenges from the opposing side, the exchange of public statements, the release of information by both sides, and the competing narratives that are emerging underscore the deeply contentious nature of the legal battle that is now officially underway. Sharpe's stated position, as articulated through his public statements and those of his legal representatives, is unequivocally one of a wronged individual who believes he is being unfairly targeted with false and damaging accusations. purportedly for financial gain. This sets the stage for a legal showdown where the central fundamental dispute that the court will ultimately need to resolve will be determining the truth of what transpired during the alleged relationship based on the evidence presented. The sheer gravity of the allegations being made means that even with a
Let's get to the latest news, and it's involving
strong, immediate denial, and a public counter-narrative. The very existence and public knowledge of this civil lawsuit creates significant and immediate challenges for Sharpe, not only within the confines of the legal system itself, but also, crucially, in the challenging and often unforgiving court of public opinion, as he has conveyed through his representatives. Facing these allegations is a profoundly difficult experience, requiring him to focus his energy and resources on defending his name and reputation against claims he insists are entirely untrue. He understands the severity of the claims, but stands firm in his assertion that the truth, supported by the evidence he intends to present, will ultimately show the consensual nature of the interactions and the baselessness of the lawsuit's core claims. He reportedly feels a deep need to clear his name and ensure that the truth prevails in the face of what he views as a calculated attack. The most immediate and tangible consequence of this civil lawsuit becoming public for Shannon Sharpe's highly visible career has been his decision to temporarily step away from his broadcasting duties at ESPN. Sharpe had become a key and highly valued contributor to ESPN's immensely popular morning debate show, First Take, where he regularly engaged in lively, often heated, but always engaging discussions on a wide range of sports topics alongside the show's longtime anchor, Stephen A. Smith, and other contributors. His addition to the First Take lineup after his much-publicized departure from FS1's competing shows, and Shannon, undisputed, was widely seen as a major acquisition.
sued Busby. Needless to say, the headlines this week took on a life of their own, and as a result, Shannon announced he was stepping away from ESPN. Here's a portion of Shannon's statement that he posted on social media. Quote, "I will be devoting this time to my family and responding and dealing with these false and disruptive allegations set against me. I plan to return to ESPN at the start of the NFL preseason. I sincerely appreciate the overwhelming and ongoing support I have received from my family, fans, friends, and colleagues," end quote. It's been a difficult week from a sports media perspective, certainly as it pertains to First Take. Shannon Sharpe became a friend. When I recruited him to come on board on ESPN's First Take, he came on board and he did a sensational job. No matter the amount of success
for ESPN, a move that significantly bolstered the show's ratings and brought his unique perspective, his charismatic personality, and his undeniable star power to an even broader national audience. In addition to his prominent role on First Take, Sharpe also hosts his own highly successful and popular podcast, Club Shay Shay, which features candid, long-form interviews with a diverse array of guests from various fields, and he also hosts the YouTube show Nightcap alongside Chad Ochachinko Johnson, further expanding his already significant media footprint across multiple digital platforms. However, the undeniable weight and seriousness of the civil lawsuit with its grave allegations prompted him to make the difficult but seemingly necessary decision to announce a hiatus from his regular on-air responsibilities at ESPN. In a statement that was shared publicly, Sharpe explained the reasoning behind his decision, indicating that he would be taking time away from his broadcasting commitments to focus on his family, and crucially, to address the very serious allegations that have been made against him in the civil lawsuit. He explicitly stated in his announcement that this step away from the microphone and the camera is intended to be temporary, with the clear intention of returning to ESPN at the commencement of the NFL preseason, which typically begins in late July or early August. This stated time frame for his planned return suggests that he anticipates the initial critical stages of dealing with the complexities and demands of the lawsuit will require his full and undivided attention, necessitating a period away from the daily grind and
I'm not by myself. I don't get to operate in any way that I want without having to worry about ramifications or repercussions. I always have to be concerned about that. So I'm challenged every day to come on the airwaves and think about the ramifications and repercussions of anything that I do. Constantly. And because of that, that's an additional guardrail to secure me from putting myself in a position that could jeopardize myself, my show, my brand, my family, the company that I work for, and anything like that. Again, I'm not talking about Shannon right now. I'm talking about what people say when it comes to people like myself and others who unapologetically explain that we have people to answer.
Tense visibility of national television broadcasting. His departure, even with the stated intention of being temporary, leaves a noticeable void on the First Take panel and unequivocally highlights the seriousness with which both Sharpe himself and ESPN are treating this sensitive and high-stakes situation. For ESPN, the decision to allow or facilitate this temporary absence aligns with how major television networks and media organizations often handle situations where their prominent on-air talent are facing significant legal issues or personal challenges. It allows the individual to dedicate their time and energy to addressing their personal and legal matters, while also helping the network navigate the potential public relations impact and intense scrutiny that can arise when a key figure is involved. In such a controversy, Sharpe's statement conveying his decision conveyed a clear sense of the need to devote his energy, focus, and resources to confronting this legal challenge directly, temporarily removing himself from the demanding world of daily sports commentary to do so effectively. He also reportedly expressed gratitude for the significant support he has received from his family, his loyal fan base, his friends, and his colleagues within the media industry during this undoubtedly difficult and challenging time, acknowledging the critical importance of that support as he navigates the complexities ahead. It is a moment that requires immense personal focus away from the glare of the daily news cycle. The broader context of Shannon Sharpe's immensely successful media career adds yet another complex and significant layer to this developing story.
When he departed from Fox, just the same way that I would say about any of my friends. That's what friends do, even in the toughest of times. Sometimes, especially the toughest of times. They ain't telling you you're right all the time. And hell, sometimes they may not stop you from falling into that abyss, but they're there to lift you up.
Following a stellar and impactful NFL career that saw him win multiple Super Bowls as a tight end and ultimately earn enshrinement in the prestigious Pro Football Hall of Fame, Sharpe successfully and seamlessly transitioned into the world of sports broadcasting. His initial tenure on CBS's long-running program, The NFL Today, solidified his place as a knowledgeable, insightful, and engaging football analyst, laying the groundwork for his future success. However, it was arguably his pairing with the polarizing sports commentator Skip Bayless on FS1's debate show, Skip and Shannon Undisputed, that truly launched him into the stratosphere of sports debate television stardom. Their dynamic on the show, characterized by sharp disagreements, passionate arguments, and often theatrical moments, captivated audiences and made Sharpe a national television star in his own right, renowned for his strong opinions, his unique, undisputed catchphrases, and his undeniable ability to connect with viewers on a deeply personal level. His highly publicized departure from Undisputed in 2023 was itself a major story within the sports media world, sparking widespread speculation and intense anticipation about his next professional move. His subsequent landing at ESPN, particularly his prominent and immediate role on First Take, was widely seen as a significant coup for the network and a clear testament to his continued popularity, his undeniable influence, and his proven ability to drive conversation and attract viewers in the competitive landscape, alongside his highly visible television work.
I'm not saying he's guilty. I'm just saying I don't think he's 100% innocent no more, bruh. At some point, we gotta say, okay, yeah, let the facts play out here, bro. Because, you keep getting accused of this everywhere you go and you keep trying to settle. Hold on, bro. Now, this is not the only thing that has resurfaced, right? Or has surfaced, I should say. Because this is not a resurfacement. Somebody from Shannon Sharpe past, called Michelle Edie, I believe, she is actually speaking out against Shannon Sharpe, and she has filed her own lawsuit against Shannon Sharpe. When
independently produced podcast, Club Shay Shay, has garnered immense popularity. becoming a must-listen destination featuring candid and often revealing interviews with a wide range of prominent guests from the worlds of sports, entertainment, business, and culture. This multifaceted and highly successful media empire means that the legal challenges he now faces have potential repercussions that extend across multiple platforms, business ventures, and revenue streams built upon his personal brand. His temporary absence from ESPN, while undoubtedly significant and highly visible, does not necessarily directly impact his independently produced content like his podcast or YouTube show in terms of production or ownership, though the broader public perception shaped by the lawsuit could of course indirectly affect all aspects of his brand and business, including potential guest bookings and sponsorships. The level of success and influence he has achieved in the competitive media landscape is a clear testament to his charisma, his innate ability to connect with diverse audiences, and his willingness to offer strong, sometimes controversial, but always engaging opinions, traits that have undeniably made him a compelling and popular figure. Now, that same high level of public visibility means that the serious legal issues he is confronting are playing out on a very public stage, under intense and constant scrutiny from his millions of fans, the media, and the public at large. The contrast between the often boisterous, confident, and seemingly carefree persona he exhibits on air and the serious
These messages of Shannon Sharpe telling him he don't like certain people. So this dude Hollywood, it looks like he's low-key sending out the bat signal, looking for a settlement, looking for Shannon Sharpe to break him off a couple of dollars, because he necessarily can't take the route of suing him for the other stuff, because I'm sure Shannon Sharpe, I would hope Shannon Sharpe wasn't intimate with this dude, all right? Now, the lady Michelle Evans who filed the lawsuit, the other lawsuit, right? Well, she did an interview with Tasha K. Now, the full interview is on TashaK.com.
And deeply challenging nature of the legal allegations he is now facing is stark and undeniable, highlighting the immense pressure he is under, as he has conveyed through his actions and statements. This is a time for serious focus and a dedicated effort to address the gravity of the situation away from the daily spotlight. He understands that his public image is now inextricably linked to these allegations, and he is preparing to address them head-on through the legal process, aiming to demonstrate the truth of his defense. The civil lawsuit itself is a complex legal document, reportedly detailing specific dates, locations, and actions that the plaintiff claims form the essential basis of her serious claims of sexual assault, battery, and emotional distress. While the initial reports that have emerged provide a summary of the core allegations and the significant sum of damages being sought, the full scope and specific details of the claims, and crucially, the evidence that will be presented by both sides to support their respective positions, will only be fully revealed as the legal process unfolds in the coming weeks and months. Civil twirl. Lawsuits of this nature, particularly those involving serious personal allegations and seeking substantial damages, can involve exceptionally extensive discovery periods. During this crucial phase, both parties are legally required to exchange information and relevant documents, produce evidence supporting their claims or defenses, and participate in potentially lengthy and challenging depositions, and where individuals involved in the case are questioned under oath by attorneys from the opposing side.
I gotta say, okay, bro, I'm gonna have to wait until I see more. And this is not me saying Shannon Sharpe is guilty, because I don't know if Shannon Sharpe is guilty. I'm just saying I'm now in a position where I have to wait to see more. I'm not taking the stance of defending Shannon Sharpe like my life depends on it. It ain't happening, bro. Let me know in the comment section, what do you guys think about this? Do y'all feel like he's guilty? Do y'all feel like y'all need to see more? Let me know. And if you're still watching,
the plaintiff in this case will bear the legal burden of presenting evidence sufficient to support her claims of assault, battery, and emotional distress, aiming to demonstrate to the court by a preponderance of the evidence that Sharpe's alleged actions caused her the harm she claims. The preponderance of the evidence standard in a civil case means the plaintiff must convince the court or jury that her claims are more likely true than not true, a significantly lower standard of proof than the beyond a reasonable doubt standard that is required for a conviction in criminal cases. Conversely, Shannon Sharpe's legal team will work vigorously to defend him against these serious allegations, presenting their own evidence, potentially witness testimony, and legal arguments aimed at refuting the claims entirely and supporting his assertion that the relationship was consensual and that the lawsuit is, in fact, without merit and a form of attempted extortion. The reported release of alleged text messages by Sharpe's side is an early and clear indicator of the types of evidence and legal strategies that may be become central to the case as it progresses, proving or disproving the true nature of a relationship, and the occurrence of specific incidents that are alleged to have happened often relies heavily on witness testimony from the parties and potentially others. The exchange of communications, such as texts, emails, or recorded conversations, and various forms of circumstantial evidence that can paint a picture of the interactions. The legal process for a case of this magnitude can be emotionally draining and financially burdensome for all parties involved, demanding significant resources and attention, and the highly
sexual assault, battery, and sexual battery. The plaintiff alleges Sharpe sexually assaulted her several times at the end of 2024.
The public nature of the defendant, Shannon Sharpe, adds yet another layer of intense pressure and public scrutiny that is not typical in most civil cases. Settlement negotiations are a common feature in civil lawsuits, as both parties may ultimately prefer to reach a mutually agreeable resolution outside of court to avoid the inherent uncertainty, the significant expense, and the potentially damaging public nature of a full trial where sensitive and personal details could be aired publicly. However, given the substantial amount of damages being sought, $50 million, and the high-profile nature of the individuals involved and the severity of the allegations, reaching a settlement may not be easily or quickly achieved, and both sides may be prepared to proceed to trial if they feel strongly about their respective positions. The case will proceed through the established court system, involving various legal filings, court hearings, and potential legal motions that will shape its trajectory and potentially narrow the issues that will ultimately need to be decided by a judge or jury. The battle over the evidence and the interpretation of events during the discovery process will be crucial in shaping the path forward for this high-stakes legal confrontation. The complexity and the deeply personal nature of the claims ensure that the legal process will be arduous and closely watched. The broader implications of this situation for Shannon Sharpe extend significantly beyond the immediate confines of the legal battle itself. His public image, a carefully cultivated and highly successful brand built over years on his athletic achievements, his considerable media success.
Well, it's a sad situation.
And his engaging and relatable personality is now undeniably intertwined with these serious and damaging allegations, regardless of the ultimate legal outcome of the lawsuit. Whether it goes to trial and results in a verdict or is settled out of court, the accusations themselves, once made public, can have a lasting and potentially significant impact on public perception and future career opportunities. Sharpe has built a considerable and loyal following across his various media platforms, and his ability to connect authentically and directly with his audiences is a key component of his widespread appeal and commercial value. Navigating this crisis while attempting to maintain the trust and support of his dedicated fan base will be a significant and ongoing challenge, requiring careful communication and a focus on demonstrating his commitment to addressing the situation head-on. His decision to temporarily step away from his role at ESPN reflects in part an understanding that addressing the legal issues at hand is paramount, and that the intensity of the situation might make it exceedingly difficult to continue his regular, highly visible media appearances without significant distraction, or without the legal situation completely overshadowing the sports content he is meant to be delivering. While he has publicly stated his plan to return for the NFL preseason, the precise timeline and the specific circumstances surrounding that return could very well depend on the progress and the status of the civil lawsuit as that date approaches and how the legal landscape looks at that time. The world of sports media is intensely competitive and constantly evolving. And while Sharpe is
that have been levied against him, I can't sit here and speak to his innocence or guilt from a knowledge.
Undeniably a major figure within that landscape with a proven track record, any prolonged absence or any significant negative impact on his public standing and credibility could potentially have long-term consequences for his future career trajectory, affecting opportunities and partnerships. His independent ventures, such as his highly popular Club Shay Shay podcast and his Nightcap show, while offering him more creative control and independence compared to his network role are also not entirely immune to the broader public reaction and perception surrounding the allegations. Guests who might appear on his podcast and potential sponsors for his various endeavors may consider the public perception surrounding the allegations when making their decisions, adding another layer of complexity to managing his overall brand. However, it is also true that his established reputation, his proven track record of success, and his loyal following could also provide a degree of resilience and support during this challenging time, as many fans may choose to stand by him based on their past interactions and perception of his character. Many public figures throughout history have faced legal challenges and have successfully navigated them. But the specific nature and the stated severity of the allegations in this particular case present a formidable hurdle that cannot be easily dismissed or underestimated. The situation serves as a stark and potent reminder of how quickly circumstances can change for even the most prominent and seemingly untouchable individuals, and how deeply personal legal matters can intersect with and profoundly impact professional lives that are lived so